Microsoft, Apple. What did these two companies have in common? The answer lies in a simple computer kit launched by MITS in 1970.
The Altair 8800.
Without this largely unheard of device, the computers we use every day on campus at HPU, Mac, and Windows would have never existed. It is all thanks to the Altair 8800. Produced by Micro Instrumentation and Telemetry Systems, or MITS in short, a company initially focused on producing calculators, founder Ed Roberts created the computer kit as part of an attempt to save his company. Using an Intel 8080 processor, it had the most RAM for a microcomputer at the time, 64 kilobytes to be exact. It was a far cry from the modern personal computers society has become accustomed to today. It had no monitor, no keyboard, just a series of switches and lights on an analog board. Making the lights turn on required a sequence of switches to be made by the programmer. But one of its selling points that made it so popular was the expandability and ease of modification of the kit itself. This was because the Altair 8800 computer kit was the first computer made for fun, not for programming long mathematical equations or to process and store large amounts of data. This allowed keen enthusiasts to experiment and play around with how this seemingly functionless machine could be turned into the next big thing. The Altair 8800 then made front cover of the January 1975 issue of Popular Electronics, one of the largest circulated computer and technology magazines in the US at the time. One varied copy found its way to the eyes of Paul Allen and Bill Gates, students at Harvard University who were keen computer enthusiasts of the system itself. Gates and Allen were immediately drawn to the Altair 8800, as many computer enthusiasts were upon getting their hands of one at the time. This led them to create Microsoft BASIC, the first programming language for the Altair 8800. Gates and Allen sold BASIC to Ed Roberts, and this represented a major milestone for the computer industry as Roberts accepted the offer. It led Allen and Gates to eventually create their own computer software company, Microsoft, upon their departure from MITS. Meanwhile, at Stanford University, two Steves, Jobs and Wozniak to be precise, took notice of this popular electronics issue as well in 1975. To bring together fellow Altair 8800 enthusiasts on campus at Harvard, they formed the Homebrew Computer Club. The club ultimately provided the foundings for several more computer companies, one of which included Apple Inc. Wozniak took inspiration from the Altair 8800 to produce the Apple I, introduced in April 1st, 1976. It was Apple Computer's first ever product. Compared to the Altair 8800, the Apple I consisted of built-in circuitry and required only a monitor and keyboard to function, whereas the Altair required an extensive amount of supplementary hardware and could only take inputs via toggle switches. The Apple I's usability ultimately provided the foundation for Apple Computer's introduction into the personal computer industry, as it led to the company's breakthrough innovation in June 1977, the Apple II. The Altair 8800 today may seem obsolete and nowhere near close to the standards of what people consider a personal computer today, but the fact of the matter is, without the introduction of this very device, the birth and rise of two of the world's most prominent tech companies would not have happened.